Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is Three Good Generals program Thursday at 8 p.m. and we have full strength today. Let's welcome the three good generals, General Ravi Shankar, General Dushyant Singh and General Rajiv Narayanan. Namaskaram sir, how are you?
Namaskaram, and thanks a lot.
Thanks. Nice to be back on your show.
Thank you, sir. And we always look forward to having you here. Full strength is always gives that extra little bit zing just in case the bowling is tough. So, General, with your permission, I'd like to just place in front of all of you the facts as we know as of this point of time. This will just take 2 minutes. It's an infographic. Let me just go ahead and start looking at that one. And then General Dushyant will start the batting going. So, what do we know so far in the 2025 Delhi blast? So far, 2,900 kilograms of explosive haul. People say that that's just ammonium nitrate. There could be other things. Good generals might correct me on this because this is still evolving information. The FIR has been changed into UAPA, which means it's a act of terror, which is very serious, and multiple casualties. I think 10 deaths and plus the 3 people in the car, at least 13 that I know of, at least 40 were injured. I don't know what the status is. They are also getting a lot of information about how many e-rickshaws were there around that car when it blew itself up. Who are the alleged state actors? The primary group appears to have been Jaish-e-Mohammed, and the motivation is state-sponsored terrorism. The thing about this is the payment. The payment was done using hard-to-trace digital transactions, bypassing traditional banking. Funds are routed through a high-turnover network of digital wallets to procure weapons and fund propaganda. So the traditional money is 15%, digital wallets is 85%. And here is the interesting thing. To avoid detection by bodies like the FATF, the module allegedly rotates over 30 new digital wallets like Easy Paisa and SadaPay. These are the 2 names mentioned. Nothing to say that whether this is illegal or not. I'm just giving the names from the references. And if you look at month-wise illegal rotation, it has varied between 28 and 35. And you can see the thing goes up and down. And the allocation of funds, weapons procurement was 50%, propaganda was 25%, infrastructure was 15%, and recruitment was 10%. This is allegedly the transnational nexus. The investigation has uncovered allegations of a transnational funding network. 2 countries have been mentioned in addition to Pakistan. Pakistan's Karachi has been mentioned as one of the places. On top of that, you have Turkey, you also have Qatar, and the digital wallets is the way in which it's coming, and then it comes into JEM handlers that brings it to Pakistan, and then it comes into the Delhi module. The interesting thing is the recruits are all doctors and lecturers. Their head appears to be Dr. Shaheen Saeed. She is supposed to be heading the women's wing of Jaish-e-Mohammed. So that's all we have for now. There are a lot of source references. We'll provide you these links as part of the reference section. Now I hand it over to General Dushyant Singh. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sri Iyer ji, for changing the batting order because the opening batsman has got temporarily hurt. He will come back again after getting himself revived and recouped. So what I'm going to do is I'll basically give a little more detailed view of the entire incident sequence from the time it started to what it is today, what is the status today, and some implications for India I shall cover. So if I can have the slide deck on top, I can start off with that. Okay, so rightly named, it is not Op Sindoor 2, but it is Op Indoor or Indore. We are seeing a definite change in the way this operation has been launched. While it is very clear that JEM and there is another group, kind of a sister group of JEM, which are involved in this particular action, but what is happening is most of the people who have been part of this network are by origin from India itself. So therefore, they were trying to deflect the Pahalgam type of an attack, which was clearly established as coming from across the border. So therefore, it is taking 2-3 forms of the past. One, a kind of an IAM, Indian Mujahideen type of a network getting into place. Two, revival of the sleeper cells which have always been there. We will be fooling ourselves if we say that we do not have sleeper cells in our country. Three, if all of you have read a book called Starfish and the Spider, if not, please do read it. It is a 2006 book on leaderless networks, where what happens is there can be a leader, there may not be a leader, but the network which was earlier of terrorism was of a spider kind. So if you destroy the spider, the entire network came down. But in a starfish network, what happens? There are smaller networks. Even if you destroy one network, you will not be able to reach the other starfishes which are moving around in the country. So therefore, it's a greater challenge from the past. This book I happened to come across when I was in the United States of America. I read it in 2006, and I've been propagating this issue that India will be subjected to this kind of an attack. So, so do read this book. It is the guy must have had a lot of foresight to actually predict this thing. We'll get a lot of answers of this, So what I'm going to say is that the date and location, all of you are aware, it was on November 10th. The operation started from the morning at around 3:30 when he moved into the Delhi area, Faridabad, but he kept on moving around, went to some masjid, and then came to the Sunari Masjid parking area, where he stayed for 3 hours. That is, I'm talking of Omar. And then he moved out of the parking area, and finally the blast took place. So that was the broad event on 10th of December. The casualties, the figures which are now coming out quite clearly, is 13 were killed. Initially there was 12, and later on one of them succumbed in the hospital, and there were about 30 who were injured. So these are the final tally of casualties identified till now. The blast details was it was an high intensity ammonium nitrate laden Hyundai i20 blast. Now the typical thing about ammonium nitrate is that it's easily it can be procured very easily. Even agriculturists are allowed to have fertilizer, and from the fertilizer you can actually take out ammonium nitrate. You'll find that most of these NPK fertilizers were found in laborers houses. So therefore there was a chain which was working to get these from the various sources. They are saying that there are links of JEI from Bangladesh also, from where the NPK and the ammonium nitrate has probably come into India, but that is still under investigation. We are not very sure about it. Then witness accounts show that the once the blast took place, the typical characteristics of an ammonium nitrate blast is that it uh, it sends shock waves which have a cutting charge kind of an effect. So if you get across this particular shock wave, your limbs will be sheared, your hands will be sheared. So that kind of a casualties were also seen on the ground when you see the various videos which are floating around and the messages which are floating around. So I would say that one thing is very clear, that they were trying to make it as indigenous an act as possible to avoid ops 2 type of a reaction from India. So that is what is coming out till now. If you go to the next thing is about the investigation. As far as suspects are concerned, primary suspect is Umar. He is considered to be the leader of the Starfish network, and there were about 8 people around him through whom he was trying to operate. The DNA match has been confirmed with the charred body, as well as the DNA of the mother and I think one brother of Umar. So therefore, there is a link, clear link of a Fidayeen suicide attack that has by and large been proved. As far as terror links are concerned, uh, this reminds you also of the Al Qaeda type of a transformation. If you remember the World Trade Tower attack which took place, there also there were this similar students, etc., who were actually planted into the US. Somebody was trained in flying. Somebody was a very kind of a student type of a person. So therefore, I think this white collared, of course, is a I think not a right thing to say terrorist is a terrorist. There is no white collar terrorist. There is no blue collar terrorist. It does not have any economic angle. If somebody is radicalized, whether he is rich or whether he is poor, he will do what he has to do based on the ideological moorings. Of course, money also moves people, but that is one of the factors and not the only factor. So, in my view, doctors were chosen because they're least suspected of carrying out such an activity. I think before the particular show started, General Rajiv Narayanan also read something from the wire about Umar's characteristics of getting to know a patient right upfront just by seeing his face or something like that. This is the old technique used by doctors, etc., who see their target audience and then try to recruit people into their network. Uh, uh, those who have been operating in the security domain, chaps like me who had about almost 20 years of operational experience in the Valley, Rajouri, Punch area. We adopt this kind of an approach to find out some intelligence, to get some sympathizers, etc. So nothing very great, except for the fact that it was tried out as a separate kind of a modus operandi, so that Pakistan is not directly blamed in it. Then arrests and raids are actually proving that it is a countrywide network. What they have till now unearthed is that there are about 8 vehicles involved. There are about 4 places where they were planning to carry out the attack: Ayodhya, Prayagraj, I think Ahmedabad, and Delhi were the places where they were trying to launch these attacks. Although, as a precautionary measure, other cities have also been put under high alert. My take is that this is just the tip of the iceberg of the various sleeper cells which are operating in the country. It is just a matter of time when some other starfish network would be activated. They don't know. Actually, the good thing about starfish network is that one starfish does not know the location and the place of the other starfish. So after a while, you will find the investigation will reach a dead end. So that is the bigger challenge which our agencies will have to deal with. Besides the fact that the money is a trail which you can easily try to follow and connect to these networks. But let me tell you another figure which all of you should be aware of, that terrorists don't require too much of money. The overall budget of Al Qaeda at its peak, of course, was 30 million, but subsequently they have all been surviving with a very, very lowly kind of budget which they require. And for that, even if you remember, about a month back, there was a news, I think I'll like to highlight to all of you, where they started collecting money through a different modus operandi. I'm talking of Jazz Mohammed and LET. They used to have these small UPI networks, open it out for a few days, close it, and open another network. So through UPI also, besides the fact that they also used the other alternate means of financial transfers, they have also been using these smaller UPIs as smaller networks. They open it, collect the money, close it, and it was all I think within the LET family. So it is very much possible that there are different methods of generating funds. Therefore, it becomes that much more difficult for somebody to trace the money trail also. I think that would be another big challenge as far as we are concerned. As far as this particular operation is concerned, I think this network has reached its dead end. I do not think it will go beyond this, because that is the way these starfish networks work. Uh, uh, and if we have to follow further, I think greater tentacles have to be now spread across other cities of our country which are susceptible to such a thing. Lucknow, you might find some more network. ATS Lucknow has been quite active on that. I have personally interacted with these people. Similarly, Hyderabad has to be kept on the scene. Kerala has to be kept on the scene. The Mumbai is a very good crime and terror network base where you might find such like networks coming through. So therefore, what has been the government response? Now here is a dilemma for the government. Now, based on its new policy, it was supposed to be act of war. It is still an act of war. How do you react to it? So this time I think they are going a little more cautiously. They are going to prove that it is a act from across the border with convincing evidence. Then only take any action as far as external action is concerned. Political reactions have been mixed. Initially the other political parties were quite balanced in their reaction, but now they have all fallen into the intelligence failure and other stuff which they have been talking about. We can disregard this kind of an action more because of the elections which were there just about the same time when this particular blast took place. International reaction, the only thing which has surprised me is that the US had a delayed reaction, whether it was due to ongoing kind of a pushback as far as Indo-US relations are concerned, or the US was probably waiting for the Indian response. How is it going to be? Anyway, that is something which we need to further work upon. They were very prompt in labeling the Pakistani blast as a terror attack. So I think we need to be a little conscious of that fact, that how we should approach further. Ongoing probes are, in my view, on the right track. I've been in the NSG. We have gone through basically what happens. There are two, three routes of investigation. One is the supply chain of the explosive. In this case, they have made it very difficult because it's a industrial product which is used by the industry, used by agriculturists, used by people who are doing experiments in the labs, etc. You can readily buy it after taking necessary clearances. Doctors are the easiest to get these kind of clearances. So I think somewhere they were able to to overcome their problems of smuggling things inside India. The last point is about the national mood. I think national mood this time is slightly better balanced. People are in one sync. They're all talking about action against terrorism, but we'll have to wait and watch for tomorrow. What happens tomorrow will dictate further direction in which the national mood goes. And finally, implication. This is my, I think, last slide. Terror module linkage and network dismantling. These two things are going quite good. But there will be more such modules as per my assessment. Intelligence and attribution gaps. There are questions about premature detonation, or it was a planned one, went wrong at the last minute. We are not very sure on that count. The style looks like a 2611 kind of a multi-city, or sorry, multi-location blast, but because of the haulage of the 2,900 odd kgs of ammonium nitrate and plus NPK 400 odd kgs. So therefore, there was a little bit of I think the theory which is gaining more ground is that it was an accidental explosion and not a deliberate Fedayeen attack. Urban security vulnerabilities have come into fore. You see, we are reminded of the Delhi blast which took place in Sarojini Nagar and other cities, other locations of Delhi or 10 odd years back. I think those things have to be regenerated. Urban security of the areas where people throng has to be taken care of, especially metros and other areas. It's a challenge for the police, and that we need to take care of. How we do it, we'll have to evolve some more better methods, etc. You can't have security forces everywhere. Intelligence probably has to be a little more sound. Then the next thing which I realize here is that the supply chain of the explosives, initially around 2015-16, when I was in the NSG, we used to follow a very detailed track. In fact, the entire data on supply chain of explosives is there in the National Bomb Data Center of the NSG. Whether it was being maintained or it is still going strong, I'm not very sure. Only the people who are serving can tell you. But they should be able to get something out of it if they have the database on ammonium nitrate, which I have my serious doubt. We were more on the TNT and the other, RDX, etc. As far as geopolitical and regional tensions are concerned, and we already, I think, deployed INS Vikrant. So there is certain amount of tensions which are going to rise, and we need to be prepared as a nation now to respond to anything which might happen, external or internal. My sense is that as and when things are proved, we may be taking certain actions externally as well, that is subject to evidence and other aspects, and policy and economic ripple effects. People have already started declaring their tourists to be careful while going visiting India or Pakistan. 10 kilometers closer to border they should not go, and whole lot of things are happening. Lal Killa was a very popular tourist destination, that will get hit a little bit. I think investments also might get hit a little bit because of the the fact that this is the second blast in a quick succession of 5 to 6 months gap which is taking place in India. So there is going to be some economic pressures as well. Safe India narrative might be blown out of proportion by the storytellers who are there, information misinformation teams which are operating across the world against India. As it is, India is being pushed back because of its rapid strides, economic as well as military. So I finish here. Rest we will debate and discuss as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh. General Rajiv, I let you have the opening statements. You've seen some data from both me and General Dushyant Singh. I know there are some inaccuracies because this is evolving data. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, the first point I would make is the 2900 kg all was actually ammonium nitrate.
Yeah,
and close to about 400 kgs for the other explosives. The one point which was coming out here is the Falah University is coming under extreme investigation. 2-3 things. People should know that the Falah Charitable Trust is actually headquartered in Dubai, and the India charter of it is located here in Chennai, in Ashok Nagar. Okay, it is located here in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, Ashok Nagar. That is one. Why is it coming is for the dubious record. 2-3 things. What I'm told is 40% of the students there are from JNK. Quite a lot of the doctors who are involved as teachers are also from JNK. One of them who is on the run was actually sacked by the Lieutenant Governor for anti-India activities. How come he was recruited here? What was UGC doing? How is he here? And suddenly now the NAAC comes and says that their website is wrong. So you were sleeping till now. See, that is the problem we have. That, like what General Dushyant was saying, for almost 14 years, nothing happened, and you shut shop, nothing will happen. You got to be on your toes, because as far as our intelligence agencies are concerned, they're doing a wonderful job, because within some time they were not able to. And need I say that this Delhi, you could say the starfish was caught based on one man putting up posters in Kulga. Begins from there when the SSP felt this is something wrong. Through the CCTV, catches all those people. The mullah also gets caught. Hardware, software, update, and then everything starts coming in and these people get caught. And that one chap who comes from there. So I would say that even the Srinagar Medical College should be under observation. What is happening. Number two, the other starfish who have been caught is the Gujarat module who were trying to do with resin. They went and they had done their medical from China. What I know of, when you do your medical from anywhere outside India, the Medical Council of India has an annual test which you need to pass. Only then you can be a doctor in India. Did they do it? I have not heard anything, because there was another doctor who had come from Bangladesh. So it's very obvious when you go and do in China, when you say that your main threat are from these places, you mean to say they will not be turned. Obviously, they'll get turned. Now, the other issue which people are not looking at, they're only looking at the university. I would say look at the owner. He's from Indore. comes from a middle class family. He was an associate professor. And suddenly he has the money to buy 34 acres of land in Faridabad and open a big university. Where did that family get the money from? I can't afford to open a university. And he was not even a full-fledged professor. So that also needs to be observed. I'm sure the NIA would be looking at it. But at this point in time, like what Gen Dushyant said, you got to look at all the other states. Because the chatter which is coming out on social media, few points which the message has come to the sleeper cells within India, disperse. They are asking them to get into the mountains or get into neighboring states which are not under observation. Their own people, they are telling to go into the mountains so that if the strike comes, you will be safe. The cells existing, they are telling them to break up into smaller cells. If you're 10, break it to 5. If you're 7, break it up into 3 to 4. So that you don't attract. Logistics also split into multiple locations. And close down temporarily whatever were your networks that were available, which were using the smuggler networks and others, stop using them. These are already in place. So when you're locating, like what are you doing? The networks which all you have caught. Rajasthan. There's a lot of raids going on in Rajasthan, UP, Hyderabad, Gujarat, of course, the Valley and Delhi. They should also be looking at West Bengal, Kerala, Northeast, and also Tamil Nadu, where this trust runs. See, I am reminded of the incident which took place in 2005. I was in Tajikistan at that time, the Hizb ut-Tahrir. It's a charitable trust. When you run a charitable trust, 2-3 things happen. Beautiful cover for whatever network you're for funding. And like we were talking offline and you had mentioned, they're using Binance. That means they're using the cryptocurrency. So if you're using the cryptocurrency, in some of my talks I had already said that it is the ideal platform today, because narco-terrorism is coming up under too much of pressure from FATF. Shifting to cryptocurrency is one of the ways they're going to do, because to block it through blockchain, it's going to be very tough. It's not going to be easy at the present moment. Future, you may be able to do it, but at the present moment, you may find it tough. And sure enough, now it is coming out. They're using various wallets and they sending money through Binance, which is the cryptocurrency platform for trading cryptocurrency. The cell networks, that book which Gen Dushyant said, I would recommend everybody to read it. It is based on a handbook of Al-Qaeda. I managed to lay my hands on that and I had sent copies to RAW and to our MI and to DIA. It gives you very clearly the same thing which he has said, the spider networks and the starfish. So you have cells. Even within the cell, only the boss of the cell will know about other workers. The others will not know. Very rarely will they know. They'll come together only when there is a task to be done. Like what happened in Delhi. A task has to be executed. Now the Delhi one itself, people are of different opinion. Was it supposed to be done on the anniversary of 26/11? Some said no, it was to be in Ayodhya in the anniversary of our 6/12. Others, somebody said also Republic Day, which I said on another platform. I said no, it can't be a Red Fort on Republic Day, because people don't understand. That is where the parade ends, and almost 5 to 8 kilometers away, everything is blocked off. Almost about 3-4 days, and everything is sanitized. You just can't go there. So to say that you can come on Republic Day, no. Yes, I can buy that 26/11 or 6/12. I would go more for 6/12 because UP was also supposed to be involved. So could be different blasts happening on different days at different places. Okay. Now the problem that starts is the defenders of these people start yakking. Like what Gen Dushyant had mentioned, which I had read offline also. What our man Vardarajan has written in the Wire, trying to cover up for Umar, a poor this and poor that and poor this. All those defenders will start coming up. So it is a big challenge for us, though the response has been, I would say, quite mature at the moment from the people. And maybe the explosions that are starting, like in Delhi, what happened there in Pakistan. Well, the champion was promptly telling it is India. And now when the facts come out, the bomb was inside a police vehicle. The Pakistani police vehicle, in the jeep, the bomb was placed within that with blew up. So a lot of things can happen, and I'm sure apart from the other things, you're going carefully so that you can build up the case for doing anything there. While Op Indoor is going on, Op Sindoor 2.0, you would be looking at it. In his fear, this time the NOTAM that he has given is virtually the heart of Pakistan. And then trying to say that they're going to test a missile. Have a heart. Over the landmass of Pakistan, you give NOTAM for missile test. You test it in the sea. So it's virtually the heart. If you look at the imagery, it's completely heartland of Pakistan. He has given the various NOTAMs overlapping. The fear is there, and footprints are coming out. When they say the handler was in Afghanistan, I would pay closer attention to Jalalabad, because there is also an Falah University there in Jalalabad. So if there is an Falah thing coming into picture here, it comes there. And it has various names and modes, like in UK, there is some Falah UK Trust, and I'm sure there must be some footprints available in Qatar and in Turkey with affiliations with all this. So since Turkey is involved, Qatar is also involved, Pakistan is involved, and I'm sure Binance being used, there is some indirect support from the US too. The fact that he's not calling it a terror attack, despite our cabinet having said, CCS having said it is a terror attack. For Pakistan, he promptly said, for this he is not saying. There are various issues which come up, because Binance, the sacked head of Binance, is now the advisor with the Trump and Pakistani cryptocurrency thing. Charlie Z is there as the head of that. So I'm sure he will have his footprints through Binance. So this is going to be a very different sort of an operation that India is going to do. It is not going to be a carbon copy of what we did in Sindoor, but it will be different. And I'll end with that famous statement of Rajkumar, which he, in the film Saudagar, which he tells to Dilip Kumar, that समय हमारा होगा, हथियार हमारा होगा, गोली भी हमारी होगी. It will be the time. The time will be decided by India, and that is what Pakistan is fearing. And that is why this thing to his people to disperse out into the mountains and hide in the mountains, so that when the strike comes, at least you will survive. So I will end here.
Thank you so much, General Rajiv Narayanan. General Ravi Shankar, over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot. General Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushyant Singh have covered a lot of ground over the basics. So I'll change tack here. And I'll change tack as to what we should do ahead. We now know this, whole thing has happened. We now know the background details, how this network is there, all that. What do we do next? What does India do next? That is my problem. Or that is the issue which we need to really look at. Okay. Is this you don't need Newton to understand that this has come from Pakistan. The source is Pakistan, filtered through Kashmir and down here. If it is not so, if the source is not Pakistan, filtered through Kashmir and trying to be executed in the hinterland of India, and if it is a homegrown situation alone, you have a bigger problem. Please understand what I'm trying to say, and I'll get back to this. Right? I hope, for all our sakes, this problem has its origin in Pakistan. Whatever has happened. If that has happened only within India, then we are looking at a completely new paradigm in India. We have to be very clear about that part of the story. Okay, let's go with the presumption that whatever has happened from Pakistan. What is the motivation? Is this motivation only from Pakistan? And if it is Pakistan, what is Pakistan's motivation? If it's from Kashmir, what is Kashmir's motivation? What is the motivation of all those fellows who are sitting here in the hinterland, whether it's in Rajasthan or Gujarat or Kashmir, not Delhi or Noida or Faridabad, or for that matter, Lucknow, or even in Coimbatore or in Chennai? What is their motivation to get involved with all this? And this is a very detailed plan. And like what General Dushyant said, this is only the tip of the iceberg. So the iceberg is still there. So how do you handle this? I mean, I've spoken of it. There's a three-pronged approach we have to take. The first prong and the main prong is internal. The op indoor is more important than op Sindoor today. The good part of this issue so far is a certain amount of preemptive action has enabled us to prevent a catastrophe. Right? But the bad part is it's opened up a huge set of vulnerabilities. And these vulnerabilities are not about Pakistan, ye, wo. I am going to now question the larger Muslim community of our India. And I'll get back to that. It's time we started facing facts and talking Turkey. Okay, right? And then you have the external factor. External factor, yeah, we know the external factor is in Afghanistan. We know the external factor is in Pakistan, Afghanistan, all that. And then you have the international factor. You have to handle all three. On that, we shouldn't have any doubt. Yeah, now India has a dilemma, ostensibly a dilemma. There are a lot of people on the net. I've done shows yesterday, today, yesterday morning, yesterday evening, today morning. Well, they want to cut the head of the snake, do everything to Pakistan, destroy Pakistan. I agree with them. But can you do it? You have to do it very intelligently if you have to do it. Whatever you want to do as Op Sindoor 2 is short-term optics. But whatever you do as Op Sindoor 2 has to have long-term effect. And that is what we have to think through. And I'm sure the government will think through this as to what should be done. Some kinetic action has to be done because it's coming from there. Eventually, it will be established that the handlers were from Pakistan. And on that, we'll have to do something. If it can't be done, we'll still do something which is appropriate so that Pakistan gets the message back. It could be covert, overt, hybrid, whatever. But the short-term optics is thinking of Pakistan. The long-term issue and the long-term solution to this problem is internal. And we have to recognize this. The internal weakness has been exploited hugely. I mean, we've been speaking of ammonium nitrate. You just go to the net, India Mart, type in, ask for ammonium nitrate. It is 150 rupees a kg. You can buy it. You can buy it in Amazon. It's not this thing. So if all this can be done and 3000 kgs has been, put together and they're trying to make some bomb, there's some local know-how, local help. And that is not Kashmiri. That's the point I'm getting to. So let's look at a little bit of our history. Mumbai blast, train attacks, Akshardham, Mumbai 2611, Parliament attacks, Lajpat Nagar attacks, Sarojini Nagar attacks, Coimbatore, now Delhi. This has been happening. Can the Kashmiris and the Pakistanis do all this without local effort? It can't be done. In which case, Muslims integral to India and indigenous to India have their loyalties either against India or with Pakistan. Have we done anything about it? I mean, it's time for us to question them. It's great. I love my Muslims, 22 crores. They're Indians. There's no doubt about it. We've had great 3 presidents who are Muslims, right? We've had so many people playing for our country. Muslims have contributed hell of a lot in this country. I have no problem with them. But equally, there's a section of Muslims who, by now, we should face facts. There is a section of Muslims who are not prepared to defend this country, or rather, who are prepared to do exactly opposite that. Why am I questioning this? And I've turned the whole equation around, and this is something which our nation has to face. Look, why should I defend India? Why should I, of any other denomination, defend India? Why should I defend this 22 crore Muslims when they're not prepared to defend India? Let me ask you this question very, pointedly at all the Muslims who are listening to this. They must be the best guys. I liked that MP OSC, the way he went and spoke and the way he speaks about Pakistan and India and all that. Completely he is nationalistic in his outlook, I have no doubt about it. I have personally served with Dr. Abdul Kalam, great man. I'm very happy about A.R. Rahman, who got us an Oscar, all that. Great. But what about the normal thing? Where is my faith in them? And I'll give you an indication, which is completely contra to what all we are talking of this incident. Look at the recruitment of people into the army. The Muslim input into the army has reduced, barring a few regiments like Jakalai, where people there indigenously, from Kashmir Muslims join. Some from other places join in one odd regiment. I think Grenadiers people join. In the rest of the places, the Muslims are not joining the army. Why? Why are they not prepared to defend India? Why is it that they hesitate to talk of Vande Mataram? This is not a religious song, it's a national song. There is something which we have to really think now. If this is only a starfish kind of a cell, and there are 100 more floating all over India, and like what Rajiv said, that they've been told to go into the hills, and that means all these chaps who are going into the hills are Indian Muslims who are acting on behalf of Pakistan. So is there a larger issue which we have to start addressing or not? If you don't address that larger issue, then there's a problem. You have to address this politically. You have to address this sociologically. Look, why? This is the question which I will ask everyone. Why is the Indian Army defending those people who are acting against the very ethos of this country, the constitution of this country? So, is there a case for us to re-examine the role of Muslims in India? I'm very deliberately provoking this thought process. This can't continue unless you ask the hard questions. You will always have the communists and the extremists getting together and digging a pit under us. Let me put it. Other day I was doing a talk show on Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani has been described as a guy who's a watermelon, green and Islamist from the outside, red and communist from the inside. So you are being fed with a watermelon today. This whole story, when this chap Vardarajan of Wire, he talks about all this, that these fellows are nice guys. This is it. You're being fed a watermelon. Islamists from outside and communists from inside. And this has to be sorted out politically first. If we don't do this discussion and we say, no, I will only do this, there's a limit to what we can do. And there's a whole of nation approach required. I do hope some of my Muslim friends see this and ask themselves, am I contributing to the progress of this nation, or am I out to ensure that Pakistan survives at the expense of India? And what is it that these people want? What is it that they want? What is their grievances? If there's a grievance, put it out. If this whole story is political, we should be clear what is the politics behind this. Is this politics only about Kashmir? I don't think so. I think the whole issue is beyond Kashmir. The whole issue of terror is just not an issue of Pakistan sponsored. Pakistan could sponsor it. But fundamentally, Pakistan can only sponsor that if there is fertile ground here. Why is it that in countries like Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and all those Central Asian republics, all these Gulf republics and monarchies and all that, this doesn't happen? Such incidents don't happen there. It happens only here. Why? Why is it? I mean, of course, there is no doubt in the fact that such incidents, if they happen, 4-5 incidents like this happen, people will stop investing, and all that. It will be a break on us. That's okay. Then we'll take it on. But the fundamental issues we need to address, the security issues we can take care of. You can break Pakistan into 10 pieces. That's a different story. Okay. The second thing which I want to take, this is the major issue internally. The second thing, the time has come for us to very seriously consider how do you politically, defeat the Pakistani army. And I keep talking of this. Pakistani army, and it's, after all, this entire thing, if you go back, it goes back to the Pakistan army. We have defeated them right from 1947 till now. Every battle they've been defeated. They claim it as a victory. That's also fine. But the problematic thing is, every time they have been defeated, they have emerged politically stronger. Even in this incident, you will see the effort of the Pakistan army is to emerge politically stronger. They are inviting you to attack them at your expense. And the day you attack them, the entire Pakistan today is in tatters, with its problems with Afghanistan and its problems with TTP, its problems with KP, its internal problems with TLP. And economically, it's not in a good space. We know that. IWT is going to hit them. We know that. What is Asim Munir doing? Only he's flying high. The rest of the country is not flying high. The best thing for them is to ensure that India attacks Pakistan. The day India attacks Pakistan, entire Pakistan will be behind them, like it happened in Sindoor. So the question with the larger issue, the second larger issue, which I'm posing today is, how do you defeat the Pakistan army politically? Is it by reclaiming Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which is yours by decree? And do you do a political outreach? Or is it by carrying out some action on the border? It won't make a difference. And the time has come, fine. I agree, we have to build international opinion, X, Y, Z, all that. But the time has come when you have to start looking beyond that. You need international opinion if you have weak options. You have no weak options which result in nothing, then you need international opinion. But if you have strong options which are available, which are either internal to you or external in a very legal way and in a very political way, You don't need international opinion. They can keep talking what they want. And if Kashmir is the center of gravity, then take back POK. Start it. Take back Gilgit-Baltistan. Political outreach. You do this political outreach, it is not only Pakistan, even China will start negotiating. And you today have the heft to do that. Unfortunately, we are being taken for a ride by people like Trump and Xi Jinping because you don't have the political gumption to do what is right. Look, this is it. I know I'm sounding radical, and I'm not sounding the normal thing, but this is my view. Back to you.
Thank you so much, sir. And just to connect the dots here, viewers, Binance is a digital wallet exchange, supposedly the cheapest one. So there's no surprise that these digital transactions happened on the one platform that is the cheapest. But in terms of optics, it doesn't look good when it is seen that Trump administration has given pardon to the guy who runs Binance, and also to the fact that the Trump family has invested quite a bit in WLF, and the Binance guys are thick as everything is connected. And I've already done one program. You can take a look at that. Now let's go to the second round. General Dushyant, see the question that General Shankar is asking: how do you defeat Pakistan politically? I'd like your opinion about this, sir. And General Rajiv, the same question is coming your way too, sir.
Okay, first of all, ammonium nitrate is not the bomb. The bomb is the detonator behind it. The root behind the ammonium nitrate. Who is getting this ammonium nitrate? Why is he getting this ammonium nitrate? What for is he getting this ammonium nitrate? What I'm trying to say is that the bomb is the people and coupled with their ideology. So I am very clear of the fact that people and ideology, when they mix together, they become the bomb, and rest of it is accessories for them to fight. So unless you fight them politico ideologically, you will not remove them outrightly. In any case, people from a particular ideology cannot be removed entirely, but their level of influence has to go down. And for that, unfortunately, we in our own country have people opposing this particular initiative. So that is the primary reason. Internal cohesion is the primary reason behind the such like activities, what people call it as fertile ground, what people call it as at fault lines, and what probably people will ultimately make Winston Churchill prove correct is that India has so many fault lines that it will crumble. So I think we need to be we need to be careful on that point. I won't say careful. We need to vigorously now actually do that point, propagate that point, propagate that narrative. Unless we do that, unless we are always shy of saying things, then we will also keep getting a heavy response from the other side. So why are these narratives being built against India? Dirty Hindu, dirty this, that? Because we ourselves don't counter. In a seminar about yesterday or day before yesterday, I exactly raised this issue, and the point came about was, look, the Americans out there in the diaspora are apprehensive of their H-1B visa. They're apprehensive about their green card. They're apprehensive, so therefore they cannot actively take part in countering the narratives which are going against us. So I feel even the same logic applies to the others also. They should also be apprehensive about their H-1B visa. They should be also apprehensive about their jobs. They should also be apprehensive about their family security. So what I'm trying to say is that the risk taking ability of our country, whether it is the leadership or the people, is very less. Unless we start increasing our risk taking ability, I think we will go nowhere. The second thing is we should always attack a problem with a plan. I think here we always do a knee jerk reaction. To me, it looks like that this time there is a plan which is being evolved in a gradual manner. I hope it follows the pattern which I am assuming in my mind, that we will go by a plan and we will do something which will be more long lasting, more result oriented and outcome oriented, and not a short term outcome. Short term outcomes will always give you short term solutions, short term respites. Whether you take Uri attack, whether you take Pulwama Balakot attack, or whether you take the Sindoor attack, I think everywhere we have been very short outcome based solutions we have been creating. This time round, if you have to do something, do it on a long term basis. You will find the people of the country ultimately galvanizing. A leader has to come up, a leader has to take a response, and there are people who have to come up front and tell things, spade is spade and what is not a spade. So therefore, if somebody is green and he's doing something, counter him by logic. If he doesn't understand, let him go by the side. I think that is something. So ideology and people are these two things which we need to focus on. And lastly, what I would say is that everything is not, you know, like a black and white thing. ETIM is a Islamic group which is fighting against the Chinese. But none of the Muslim countries are actually supporting it. Why? So why should we be afraid? If we have to support Afghanistan, do it. If in the land of Romans we have to survive like being a Hindu, I don't think so. We have to become like Romans. If our own mythology, our own scriptures say that you have to be a Christian to survive a Mahabharat. This is the Mahabharat which is going on, and I was very happy when somebody, some person who of a repute, 3 4 days back said, "This is a Rakshas Yuga. We are past our, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. This is a Rakshas Yuga." He used this word, Rakshas Yuga. And in a Rakshas Yuga, you have to do what Ram did or what Krishna did. If Bali could not be killed by Hanuman, Sugriv, then he had to do that Mala Shala, all that trick and deception had to be done. So that is what we have to do. Today it is a Krishna's choice which we have to resort to. No hesitation in taking gray zone actions. So what people will say something about it. We have seen something which happened in Canada. Whether we did it or not, I'm not privy to it. I'm not insider. But whatever happened in Canada, people made hue and cry. Five Eyes suddenly came up, which is an organization of 1947. It came up and bent down the memory lanes. So I think let's become a little more, I would say, uh, uh, I won't use the word aggressive, but forceful nation. Let's make our stick talk. That's the point I have. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, General Dushyant Singh. General Rajiv Narayanan, question is the same thing. How does one defeat Pakistan politically?
So, 2 3 things I'll take on first, like the problem internal. The basic problem is I have no qualms in stating the political patronage that they get. You have 3 4 political parties, and one of the oldest political parties who looks upon them as vote banks. When you have that, then how do you manage? I have always been vocal about it, that why is there a minority commission in India? If you're an Indian, how can you be a citizen of India, be a minority in the country? Ridiculous. It was used by the Britishers for you to divide and rule, and the politicians are carrying on with it. If ever there has to be a commission, ministry, it should be the ministry for the economic weaker section of the society. I don't even support the framers of the constitution where they said reservation for XYZ. They should have put reservation based on economically weaker section. Why based on caste and color and creed? We are still paying the price for that. And at 20, almost about 18 to 20% of the population, is he a minority? That you're still looking at Muslims as minority. Bullshit. There are so many others, they don't have a problem. And essentially they are doing it because this is the plan of Ummah and a plan of Ghazwa-e-Hind, that we have not converted to Islam. They tried for so many centuries, it didn't happen, so they want to do it in some other way. And it's a blunt way that is going on. It doesn't happen in Muslim countries because they're already, by the sword, they have already converted to Muslims. And you can see the rise of it happening in Europe. And starting with the UK, where it's become a big issue, because there also they have become vote banks. So the crux of the problem is political. And it is we, the people, who have to make sure that these parties who support them as vote banks should be thrown out from everywhere. That they don't win any elections, then automatically everything goes. That is my basic point. I have spoken on many channels exactly what Gen Shankar has been pointing out. There are two major things that people have to say. You can't say that no, these hardliners are small percentage and the others are not. I gave two examples to the people when I talk about this. One is Germany. All Germans were not with the Nazi party. They barely won 33% of the vote. What happened? And just look at Dresden bombing and what all happened and who all got killed. When the bombs fly after that and people get aggressive after that, nobody is seeing whether you are a moderate or you are not a moderate. Everybody gets killed. When the atom bomb was thrown, the other I mentioned is about Japan. All of them were not the hardliners like some in the army were, and who wanted to go to war and did all the atrocities in various places that they conquered in ASEAN. When the atom bomb fell, who did it kill? And who suffered for so long? Same is going to happen to the Muslim population within. You may be 20%, but if the other person ka Singham ka hota na, ata mati satakli, then even if the government wants to stop and anybody else wants to stop, they won't be able to stop. Then what happens? So people have to be very clear, the Muslims. I'm reaching out to them from here. I had buddies during Kargil war who was a Muslim. We have fought shoulder to shoulder, stood by against Pakistanis. That's a different story. This is a different story. You can't hide behind that we have people who are doing it. Sorry. You have to cleanse the system from within. Why have you kept mullahs who are trying to indoctrinate your people? Why haven't you thrown him out from the mosque? What are you scared of? I've told my veterans also who have spoken to me that you got to do it. Nobody else is going to come and cleanse your house. Because when somebody else comes, everybody gets hit. They are not going to check whether A or B or C is a hardliner or not. A, B, C, D, sab pitenge. Now, how to do the politics? What Gen Dushyant has categorically said. Where is the harm in going full pelt grey zone against Pakistan? Who stopped you? See, Pakistan is the cat's paw. And if, like, two names have already come very clear. Pakistan, that chap's name is Dr. Hashim, but actual name is Arif Nisar. It's already there in the open. You're still trying to search out the name of that handler in Ankara. Ukasa was his name, code name. You're trying to find out. And now you are asking Turkey. Oh, bloody hell. The president of Turkey is a card holding of Muslim Brotherhood, which is the font of having an ummah, global ummah. And you are asking him to help to find out. And you have to do it yourself. All these places you got to do it yourself and start throwing out your gunmen, your unknown gunmen. वो डर शुरू हो जाना चाहिए and let the unknown gunmen go wide. So political has to be with the manner in which it is going to be done, because the Pakistan army is very rightly said, General Shankar, that they always say it's a win, because they follow the book written by Brigadier S.K. Malik. early 2000s.
Chronic concept of war.
Chronic concept of war. So even after defeat, if he survives, it's a victory for him. So you can't defeat him like that. You got to defeat him very rightly, he has said, politically. So if you have fissures, what stopped you from supporting the this chap, apna Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan? It has to be done covertly in a big manner. That what you can do, I can do 10 times better. Just by stating somewhere, if you do this, this will happen, that will happen, doesn't happen. You can't keep waiting now. He has responded with something within. You think his fissures are not there inside? As bad as ours? What's stopping you from using that? Use it to the full. Then he will be scampering. Like in between, there was so much of negativity against the army amongst the public, especially when Imran Khan was arrested. It's amazing that the PTI was not used by you. What are you sitting on the sidelines and watching? You can't sit on the side. See, those days when you didn't have the power, oh, that's a different issue. Today you have. And like Lord Palmerston had said, there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. What is permanent is your national interest, and in your national interest, आप रोते हो ने यूएस करता है ये करता है तो आपको किसने रोका? Who stopped you from doing it, यार? If you say you're rising, you're this power, you're that power, yes, your EAM is gone there, your army is strong. Without all these covert things and other things which Chanakya had also said, Tushnim warfare, you're not going anywhere. If you're not doing Tushnim warfare, forget it. You will only be reacting like what General Dushyant said, you'll only, and General Shankar had mentioned, you'll only be reacting. If you're doing Tushnim warfare, other chap will be reacting to what you're doing. So I'll stop it here.
Thank you so much, sir. General Ravi Shankar, closing thoughts, and then we can go to questions, sir.
Yeah, look, my own very clear from day one. I keep saying, you have to destroy the Pakistan army, which is the center of power in Pakistan. The rest of the Pakistan is irrelevant. The day you can handle that, everything is there. What is the example? What happened when Article 370 was abrogated? Pakistan army didn't have a role. It stayed on the sidelines. You have to do something where Pakistan army does not have a role. And what is that? What are those issues which you can do? You reclaim POK, as simple as that. You have 14 or 15 seats in the J&K assembly. Please fill them up. In the J&K assembly, people should say, I want POK back here. This is not there? My gutter in Muzaffarabad is not okay. These things should come up. Logon ki mang, people. We have to attack the people, or rather get the people on our side. Or for that matter in Gilgit-Baltistan or wherever. That's the first thing. Get the political juggernaut rolling. You know the tragedy in our country, people like us who are military men are talking politics. Okay? And or politicians want the military to go and do things. They are talking military. That's the tragedy. You have to be very clear. War is neither politics. I mean, war is an extension of politics by other means. And it's so true. This has to be understood politically. You have to play this game politically. Army can only help resolve those issues when force is needed. Force is not the only solution. So I've given you one. You from my side, you can exploit Afghanistan. You can exploit KP, TTP, fund TLP, like it was mentioned. You can do it in Balochistan. We have said, from the day we abrogated, or rather we stepped out of the Indus Water Treaty, we've said Indus Water Treaty doesn't hold good. Fine, it doesn't hold good. Sir, what's our plan for it? Do you know it? Do we know it? What is the plan? Have you told Pakistan? This is what I'm going to do as per this timetable. And have you given the strategic communication to the people of Pakistan to say, look, from tomorrow you're not going to get water, try what you want? Afghanistan, the foreign minister came, he wants to build a dam on Kunar River. Have you told him, okay, I'll give you $5 billion and I'll build it, I'll send my people, I'll engineer and everything, I'll build this and I'll give you an irrigation system, take care of Afghanistan. Have you done that? Are we waiting for what? अभी करेंगे नहीं करेंगे. You have, look up, why am I talking all this? Our Prime Minister has said any act of terror is an act of war. Okay? If it's an act of war, you have to respond as if it's a war. But do you have to always respond kinetically? You can't. This is no solution. This is no situation where which you can respond kinetically. You have to respond politically. And the time has come to say thank you to USA, Europe, UK, China, and all this stuff. You stay out of it. Let me do what I have to do. And mind you, we have precedents of this. We've done this earlier. When we broke this country into two in 1971. I think we have to rethink. Look, the good part of this whole story, I say, is nothing much has happened. We've caught the fish before it, something bad happened. But it's an opportunity. If you let this go, it will repeat itself. And it will repeat itself in a manner which you don't know. Because that fellow outside is testing waters. He's gauging what your response is. If your response is weak, he's going to exploit you further. I mean, we can keep talking, but I think these are okay. We'll take this conversation forward through question and answers.
Thank you, sir. And this is not going to be the end of this discussion. This is just the beginning, and we're going to have many such sessions. Thank you so much, all of you. And let's take some questions now, please. First question to General Ravi Shankar. I'm sorry, I'm going in the reverse direction. Bobji Krishnan wants to know, I've never seen you so, I don't know what should I say, sir. You are not angry, but you're making some very good points today. I good to see that it's coming from the, from the heart.
Look, it's not a matter of coming from the heart or anything. This is facts. You have to start looking at facts. The facts speak. If the facts speak and you know the symptoms and you don't treat the symptoms, the disease will kill you. As simple as that. Right? You disregard the symptoms to a point. Beyond that, you can't. It's a fundamental.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. First question to you, sir. All these years, our successive prime ministers did nothing while terrorism was raging. Why is Modi alone expected to act against Pakistan, China, and others? General Ravi Shankar.
It's not a matter of Mr. Modi alone. Okay. Don't think the other prime ministers did nothing. They could do nothing because India was a weak country. Let's face facts. We were weak politically. Our governments couldn't survive each other within. If those governments couldn't survive and the rate at which the governments were changing was so high that you would have been a failed state and you would have disintegrated. Be thankful for the fact that at least those chaps ensured that your government survived everything. And you now have a strong government. Let's do the needful. The time has come. हर एक चीज के लिए एक वक्त होता है. Instead of, and this is Bobji Krishnan, you're also looking behind. Oh, why didn't they do? Why should this man do? If he doesn't do, anyway, we are not in a great shape. Because that chap didn't do behind. You mean to say Mr. Modi also shouldn't do now, hereafter? I am not a proponent of Mr. Modi. Let me be very clear. I am not his supporter. But the fact is, he is a good prime minister. He is in chair. He has the capability to do it. He has the mandate to do it. And he can do it. So he should do it. The previous couldn't. As simple as that. QED. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. General Rajiv Narayanan, the question is to you. What is the solution to Muslim mindset? Obviously, education is not working.
I would say get all the take out the temples from under the government and get all the madrasas and masjids under the government and control what is taught. I would say close all madrasas. Anyone, and not just madrasas, anyone wanting to be a priest, give the minimum qualification 12th pass. Clear your 12th and then you decide whether you want to go down the theology way or any other way. पढ़ाई करने बोलो. I won't like a 6-year-old boy to get into a madrasa and get brainwashed from there and come out knowing nothing else about the nation. So get into that. That is how. You can't kill an ideology overnight. Let's be very clear about it.
Yeah.
If, like the previous question said, so many people had not done it, that means so many decades of that mindset has come in. It will take a multiple generational shift. Once, so even when I say you start this, it will still take a multiple generational shift for the mindset to change.
Next question, please. General Dushyant, it's for you, sir. Akash Tadani wants to know, kinetic action by our military forces is required. Timing and magnitude may be optimized for the half front within. Firm, resolute, unforgiving, continuous action is required. Your views?
Look, kinetic actions take place based on situation and based on options available with the country. As of now, the options for a kinetic action is not there. But I would like to just tell people out here that you know there are various views which have been expressed about our defense preparedness, etc. Now, what I'm going to tell you is something very, very authentic. What our defense preparedness was 5 years back, what our defense preparedness was 10 years back, how we were functioning, say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years back. There is a sea change in that. There is a sea change in that. You will also find soon the DPM has already been released. The procurement acquisition manual is DAP is also going to be released very soon. You will find powers being given to the defense forces, where if they go to a particular international or national exhibition, and if they find whether it is Indian, whether it is foreign, that they require this particular equipment straight away, they will be given the power to pick it up, take it, use it, try it, and if they find it good, they will be able to procure it. That is the kind of leeway and freedom is being given. So be rest assured, military will take its action to sort out Pakistan. That's my belief, or China, to defend China. Let me tell you, it's not only about numbers; it's also about how you execute your strategy. A small little nation can fight a big nation. A big nation may lose to a small nation. So therefore, there are so many aspects to war fighting. And one thing is very sure: Indian Army has never been defeated since last 200 years or 200 plus years, barring 1962, which cannot be compared. 1962, we were absolutely outnumbered, out-equipped. We were, in fact, I mean, there was no comparison whatsoever, even for, and wherever we had the necessary requisite support, we fought and we fought and we fought like bloody tigers. I don't have to remind you about Volong. I don't have to remind you about Zozila. I don't have to remind you about Chusul and so on and so forth. So therefore, be rest assured, Pakistan will be sorted out. Things are moving very fast, partners. Things are moving with rapid speed. People are being given powers which they have not seen in their life. I have not seen such powers in my life. The kind of power which are being given to the commanders in front today. It's a different Ministry of Defense now. Let me just put it this way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we go to the next question, I would like to get the screen, please. I want to share one small data point, and just put share the screen, please. Hold on. Yeah, I just did that. Yeah. So, viewers, what you're seeing here is the future cost analysis. This is something that many think tanks have done. The references are there in an article that appeared in pgurus.com. If there is going to be a future war, the cost to India, all costs, not just the cost of defense, 5,000 crores per day. And if it gets into the second month or so, it's going to go up from 5,000 crores to 1.34 lakhs per day. And the resulting loss in the stock exchange could be very, very high. So these are the numbers. This could be the highest possible worst case that I'm giving you. But just understand that war comes at a price. And politically solving this problem is the best way to go about doing it. I know I have sounded differently in the past, but these are all things that, churn happens. We all think about it. Don't just come out and say something because that's what the heart tells you to do. Let's apply our head. So this is where the costs look like. Let's go to the next question, please. So this is for General Shankar. News about LTT on November 2nd and 11th regarding Karachi LTT. How ISI LTTE are related, but before that and after Elam war. And second is, why is LTTE against us?
Well, that's an ideology. LTT is against us because of an ideology. And you can't even defeat ideology militarily. You can only defeat it ideologically and politically. As simple as that. In any case, LTT is now a spent force. There's no point talking of it. There will be remnant guys who are hardcore of that variety who will continue, but you can't stop them.
Next one, please. Amitesh wants to know, those who defend this government, I have one question for them. This Al-Falah University was funded by Arab nations, and this university was radicalizing people, and government could not know this to act. General Rajiv.
Well, Amitesh, you have all kinds of these systems who are supporting them who are still in your system. What can the minister do if he wants to change something when nothing is put up to him? Do you expect him to sit on the computer and start searching everybody? That is the whole problem, no? So that is the main issue. All these people have infiltrated all the ranks. When I say that you have political parties who are using them as vote banks, they have their people within the governing system. That is the whole problem. Like NAC, like I said, the website, they've said that they are A+, which is all gone. It has lapsed. The head of the NAC can't be asked to check every university, no? Somebody who's responsible for that has to put up to it. That is the whole problem. Understand that problem.
Next question, please. This is to General Dushyant Singh. There is a desperate need for reform within the Muslim community as their education knowledge system is broken and it's not teaching STEM or patriotism. General Dushyant.
I think this question has already been answered in various forms by General Rajiv. He said, just ban education in madrasas, etc. It's easier said than done. It is the internal dynamics which is keeping these people alive and kicking. Let me give you now example. Azamgarh, from the place where I belong to, there is a degree college called Sivli Degree College. Now, this Sibli Degree College is out and out funded by the Arab countries. It is not from today. It is from even before partition. And if you go to that college inside, the guest rooms and the works and the things are of state of the art, not from now, from last 40, 50 years. And around Azamgarh was the poorest district of UP, Eastern UP. So this flourishing of these people, what is work board? Don't you think the government is doing the job? It is trying to do it, but there are people. Look at the statements which people give. The day I get elected, I will abolish the work board amendment. You don't allow checks on them. You will allow full administration of. I'm being slightly political, but that's the problem today. That's the problem today. That you will allow full audit on yourself. वो दूसरे को audit मत करो यार. Yeah, sir. Rajiv sir.
Yeah, I will just add. It's not that they're coming from a broken system. These people who got were doctors here.
And
What
they
do you
were
mean
rich.
to say? Proper doctors and educated people are doing it handsome. Ideology doesn't look at somebody who is illiterate. I'm sorry, I don't agree to what you're saying. It is just one of the symptoms to take away the cannon fodder.
Bilkul.
When the cannon fodder, see, like Gen Dushyant has a whole lot of experience. I have some experience in insurgency and terrorism. Essentially, it is like they are like a fish, and the population is like the water, like what General Shankar was saying. Support is there. When you ideologically remove the water from there, how does the fish survive? That is what you got to do. So to say that it is broken, yeah, broken, but even the educated one are getting ideologically radicalized.
And it's been there from ages. Radicalization is more in the educated ones.
Was a civil engineer. Osama bin Laden was a civil engineer.
Civil engineer, somebody is a doctor. Al
Yeah.
Zawahiri was a doctor.
और डॉक्टर तो
Okay.
सोच लो यार ऐसा नहीं होता.
Thank you, Udupa, for your generous grant. I don't know which channel got it, whether it is one of the three got it. Bangalore Subramaniam wants to know, this is for General Ravi Shankar. The blast is similar to the blast in Lebanon a few years back, which measured 3 on Richter scale. Have these people tried the same method, how to control crypto transactions of jihadis?
These are all symptoms. Controlling crypto, ye, wo. Look, today we have spoken of the heart or the nub of the matter. The nub of the matter is political ideology. It is religious ideology. Because political ideology and religious ideology is slightly different. But the thing is, both of this are now fused together in this society. And for that, I think the Muslims in this country have to rethink their whole story. I mean, I have no doubt. And we have to have an honest discussion with them. I'm not branding every Muslim person as, someone who's an anti-national. No. They are 22 crores are with us. It is that minority, and that minority within them have to be cleared by the majority of them. Right? And unless the silent majority of Muslims start speaking, we're not going anywhere.
So
Yeah.
Next one.
the Lebanon blast, I can say that was in Beirut port, and they had a whole warehouse full of ammonium nitrate. And
Absolutely.
it is suspected that the Mossad blew it up because they were going to use it for IEDs and to target Israel.
Yeah.
So it was blown up.
That is a huge dump.
Yeah, massive dump.
Next question to General Rajiv. Thought Provocateur wants to know, how about large-scale central police recruitment like Agniveer to handle internal security challenges pan India?
Third, we just coming out. Let the first set of Agniveers come out and see how the society and systems are going to handle it. Let it mature before you start talking about central police recruitment. Okay. And that let the police department decide how they want to go about it. They have no dearth of people who are coming for their recruitment. So they don't have a problem of age like we have. You want young profile. So,
Next question for General Dushyant Singh. Sir, around 10 to 12 military aircraft are flying around. Does this mean an action might come soon?
Well, this is a precautionary activity which is taking place. As far as India is concerned, civilian aircrafts are going as scheduled, maybe minor changes here and there. Just because the Pakistanis have announced some NOTAM, which I think very well covered by General Rajiv. So there is the precautionary, our own exercises are going on. We have, in fact, all our commands are doing exercises, not only along Pakistan, but along our northern borders, along our Andaman, everywhere. Actually, October, November is an exercise season, so you will find this kind of military activities very well observed. Earlier, media was not reporting. Now the media is reporting. But yes, there is a little bit of a precautionary movement which is being undertaken by the Air Force as well as by the other crew services. I told you that INS Vikrant is also plowing the waters of Arabian Sea. So you can make your inferences.
Thank you, Saurabh Sabarwal. This is for Rajiv ji. This is for you, sir. New approach could be taken to tackle half front as it seems to cause more damage than all the missiles drones
We've
during
already
war.
spoken about it. Gen Shankar has
Yeah.
spoken about it. I have spoken about it. Gen Dushyant has also spoken about it.
So, General Sir Hemant Shah, my good friend, thank you, Hemant ji. He met General Rajiv and others at the Jaipur Dialogue Festival, Vibhutija, and so on and so forth. Hemant ji, I'll let you know when I'm in Coimbatore. I'll reach out to you. Next one, please. This is for General Ravi Shankar. US is involved. Can it be reason because Putin is about to visit India as well?
No, no, US and all have no role in this.
Yeah, no.
Zero. Okay, this is straight within.
Next question to General Rajiv again. Ashish Hagde wants to know, living in dysfunction, an article in Dawn, should we really be concerned about them? General Rajiv.
I haven't read it because I can't access Dawn. I've tried it a number of times. That site doesn't come to me, so I cannot comment on something which I have not read. If somebody else has read,
There is an article in an Australian magazine of 2021 which talks about durability in instability. So therefore, the world is going through a geopolitical order where there is instability is being used as a durability factor to serve their respective ends. So you will find that there'll be no permanent alliances, there'll be no permanent views, permanent support. People will keep changing sides, keep changing tack. This is what it is all about. It's basically durability in chaos is the new
Yeah,
world order.
I read this article. I've read this article. I mean, it's a very interesting article, and I suggest many people read it. Right? Uh, this is about living in dysfunction. It tells you where Pakistan is. It gives you the political lines which you can adopt to hit Pakistan. People who need to handle Pakistan at the right level must read this article.
Next one, please. Ameya Rupal wants to know, one of the alleged perpetrators visited Turkey. Can we have compulsory immigration check for visitors to Turkey?
you must do something which is feasible. What is not feasible? Why do it? So many thousands of people go to Turkey. On what basis are you going to stop them? If you try doing it and say, no, you're a Kashmiri Muslim, so I'm going to do a check, you're going to alienate them further. So like what was being said, this is ideological. So you've got to do politically and through education. So very difficult. How are you going to? What are you going to?
Next one, please. Thank you, Hemant ji, for your generous grant. He is wishing Shankar ji and Dushyant ji and Rajiv ji.
Thanks
next
a lot.
question, please. Pratik, thank you once again. Pardon me, generals, if I sound cynical, but less Muslim recruitment in army is quite fine with me, especially if I have learned anything from history from Vijayanagar Empire to revolt of J&K army in 1947. This is to General Ravi Shankar.
Well, let me be very candid about it. I'm not too bothered about this internal revolt and all. We can handle that. Indian army is very strong. We handle all religions very well, and Muslims are good people within the army. They come from, once a chap joins the Indian army, we'll resolve that problem. The issue which I'm raising is this. You have 22 crore Muslims in this country. They should have a proportionate representation in the army.
Yeah.
If you see the statistics over the past 20 years, it has slowly been coming down. And it is now only confined to certain parts of this country. Aren't the Muslims of the other parts of the country interested in going and defending this country? Or they feel that the defense of this country is meant for others and I am meant to do other activities? Okay, I'm also okay with the fact If he is supine and does nothing and he looks after himself and his own happiness, I'm okay. But if you are to act against us, the rest of the country, when I say us, the rest of the country, to the detriment of the rest of the country, but to your own good. And it's to the detriment of your own community. Overall, if India doesn't progress, you think these Muslims will progress? Whether you call them minority board, Waqf board, ये board, वो भी नहीं होगा आगे. उनका कौन सा आगे बढ़ने वाला है? So the Muslims in this country have to introspect. That is the point I'm trying to bring about. They have a stake. Do they have a stake in this country or not? Or their stake is only to say, no, we are all good and you chaps should be under us. That's the point. Yeah.
This is for General Rajiv. General Shankar rightly addresses the real concern. Indoor, domestic is of the highest priority. If not stopped, which Ricin-like attempts will become reality. Serious threat, no more appeasement approach. There is no question here. Thank you so much, Pujit. Next question. Sir, Ricin should have led to nuclear test by now. General Rajiv.
What do you want to see? Do you think any nuclear test or any messaging, anything will work? Why do you need a nuclear test? If you have got the details available with you and you can make your nuclear weapons, because subcritical test, let it be very clear. Nuclear test, a full-blown nuclear test, you don't need to do. I mean, you get the critical parameters. After that, subcritical test, every country in the world does. Be very clear about it. After all, the nuclear warhead also has a life. Your nuclear warhead, about 25 to 30 years, the warheads are approaching. So you will have to do any ammunition. You do your testing to check the life, and if something needs to be done to improve the life, and give it, okay, this can last for so long. Ditto for nuclear warhead, because the nuclear, the fissile material plus the detonators which have been kept outside to bring the two halves together into a critical mass, they have a life path. So subcritical tests take place. So if Trump says nuclear tests these countries are doing, I don't think the JOSO has even understood that subcritical tests are done. So do you need? I don't think you need.
Thank you, the Sumit Mania. General Dushyant, we always knew what was the core issue, yet we handled it loosely post-op Sindoor, halt back in May 25. We had great opportunity to tighten the screws within the half. Generals, your view.
Okay, so the entire narrative at that point of time, right from the beginning, was I covered it in my brief, that we were looking at a short outcome. We got the short outcome and we finished it there. So therefore, it has to be all based on what is your national objective or political objective. I think the national objective set was of that much, so it was done that much. I'll leave it at that. Rest, I would not like to elaborate more on this issue.
Last question for General Shankar. Tech wants to know. Thank you, Tech. Us growing up had great Muslim teachers and neighbors. Has there been an increase in radicalization of late?
I will not say radicalization. I think indifference is the better word to use. And I've been a bit diplomatic about it. And I think indifference to the fact that a certain amount of their own community have got radicalized is the issue at heart. Right? You can't allow, it's like, in my house, I can't allow one of my children to become a terrorist. If I ignore the fact that if one of my child has become a social problem, right? It is I who have created that social problem. It is not my child. Where's that ownership of that larger community? Right? And we also have to we also have to look at our own history. We are a divided nation. We are a nation bought. I mean, I wouldn't say divided nation. We are a nation which is bought for division. Today we are everyone thought, if you go back, I'll put it the time when I was a young officer. The general consensus, international consensus was But Pakistan is a strong nation. India is a weak nation which will disintegrate. 50 years later, what is the story today? Pakistan is on the verge of disintegration, and any disintegrating nation will create problems for others. That's history. And you are a strong nation. And there is a minority amongst you who have contributed immensely to the growth of this nation, but who are also complicit in being quiet when there is some element of their own community who are aligned to that other ideology which comes up from across the border. That is the problem, and we have to start facing this problem squarely. You don't face this problem squarely, you don't have a honest discussion with the Muslim community in India, I think we are in for a tough time. And I think that's the political challenge for our government also. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
In fact, to a large extent, these days, I find one of the people who talk a lot of sense about this problem and who probably identified this problem very well is Mr. Mohan Bhagwat of RSS. You listen to what he speaks. I'm not even talking of BJP, EAO, all that. And RSS at one point of time spoke a different language. Today it's a different language. They have changed. If they have changed, why can't others change? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. General Ravi Shankar, General Rajiv Narayanan, and General Dushyant Singh. Thank you for the gift of time. We ran over by about 41 minutes, but hopefully all of you had a lot of information here. By way of comments, you can express your thoughts. We have two channels going now, portrait mode and landscape mode. I hope you like that format also. And once again, looking forward to meeting you all, generals, next Thursday. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you.